Welcome back to Fight Feed, my fellow fight feeders. Today, I want to share with you guys something that I've been working on in the background quite some time now. Not really quite some time, I'll be honest. I started doing this a few months back, did a lot of work, and well, fucking, it's October, and here we are. If you guys remember, one of the GOATs, he's not the GOAT, I don't think. I think Guru's got him beat, but he is one of the GOATs of the MMA YouTube space, and that's Lucas Tracy MMA. You guys recall Lucas made quite the buzz a few months back when he made his GOAT list. And when this occurred, I was intrigued, seeing how much people were talking about it, seeing how much people were, shitting on his list. And then Kenny Okoye comes out, makes an even worse one. And Bedtime MMA's got one. And everyone is kind of like shitting on these lists, right? And it got me thinking, as MMA fans, how do we truly build the perfect GOAT list, considering all aspects of MMA? And I'm not just talking the aspects of like winning fights, winning championships, title defenses. I'm also including some of those other criteria, right? And so what this made me realize is I was going to take it upon myself to try and build a true GOAT list. Okay. And what I mean by that is I first started building a criteria for how we should tally up the different GOATs of the sport. Because as Lucas Tracy said, you got Peter Yan in like, what was it, the number 10 spot. And I just love when Lucas is like, and my number 10 is Peter Yan. Yeah. He's like fucking so excited about it. Shit's hilarious. But if we're taking a look at this GOAT list, right, it can't, I don't think you can just say Jon Jones is the GOAT, right? I know that that's what most of us say. I've said it. I know you guys have probably said it or even heard it. So what I did, guys, is I built a criteria that I'm going to share with you. And the thing is, guys, I really need you all here. I need you guys. I know you probably, if you're new, you probably aren't even watching this because you might have just clicked out. Or if you are a fight feeder, I need you guys to help me here. I want your guys' opinions on this criteria because I feel like if I can get a solid consensus from, my subscribers and knowing you guys are MMA fans, we can try to build out a truly bulletproof criteria for scoring the GOAT of MMA. All right. So I need you guys to comment on this. Let me know your thoughts. Let me know any additional criteria you think should be included. Let me know if you think some of the scoring criteria needs to change. Please help me. And let's go ahead and give you all a preview of this criteria that I have been talking about for the last 4 minutes. All right, guys, as you can see on my screen, the criteria is here. And I'm going to go down this list and I'm going to just give you guys these points and things I thought a lot about, probably too much about. And like I said, I want your guys' feedback. Please comment. Tell me if you think it's bullshit. Tell me if you're like, fuck that. That should be this amount of points. But this is the criteria that I really thought hard on, trying to include some of those elements that may not always be considered in different GOAT conversations. And we'll just go through the list. So the way that I built this criteria out, I have this all from most amount of points to the lowest. Okay. And I'm going to give you guys a little sneak peek. Okay. I've already tallied up points for a couple fighters. And I can tell you what, Jon Jones is not the GOAT based on this criteria. Okay. Let's go ahead and dive in. So the first criteria, the highest amount of points you can get, having a 10 fight win streak. So if a fighter has had a 10 fight win streak or more, they get 10 points tallied onto their shit. Okay. The next one, I actually am proud of this one because I guess a little bit of the tism that I might have brought this one out. But I was thinking, I'm like, when we talk records, like a big conversation around Jon Jones, around specifically Demetrious Johnson. I feel like people have really shit on Mighty Mouse's record and his title defenses because they say like, oh, these guys were fucking waiters or whatever, even though he beat Tim Elliott, who just smoked Kaya Sakura. But that's besides the point. So what I did, guys, is I'm like, you know what we should do? We should go into each of these GOATs record, add up the records of their opponents when they fought them. And if overall, after adding up all their opponents' records, that cumulative record is 80% wins or higher, that they get another 10 points. Okay. And you're gonna see down below if their opponent's record is 75% win-loss or higher. If it's above 75%, they get 5. And then if it's above 80, they get another 10. Okay. So this is a way to reward those fighters who clearly had more competitive competition throughout the course of their career. So that's 10 points. The next one is they win a belt, 7 points. They won an interim belt, 5 points. Won the belt a second time, 5 points. 5-fight win streak, 5 points. Then, as I mentioned, opponent record 75% or higher, meaning they have 75% more wins and losses. I think that makes sense. The next one, win over a top 5 opponent, 3 points. So this one is where it gets really tricky, guys, because when I was building this criteria out, I thought I'd be able to get this shit pulled together at the time this was going on. And then, it takes a lot of research, especially if you're going, back a few eras in the UFC, to add up and figure out who was ranked and who wasn't. Okay. But technically speaking, a win over a top 5 opponent is three points. A performance of the night, 3 points. A fight of the night, 3 points. So this is things like where you're going to get guys like Justin Gaethje, who's got like a crazy amount of fight of the night and performance of the night bonuses. A win over a top 10 opponent, that's 2 points. So the way that this is supposed to work, though, is in the wins over a top 10 and top 5, I have to check it, but I'm pretty sure what I did is if you had an opponent who was ranked number 2, you actually get both of those, right? So you're going to get a +2, +3 because you're hitting both, not only the top 10, but also that top 5 marker. The next one is defended their belt. So that's 2 points. The next one is a finished the opponent. That's 2 points. That's a sub, that's a KO, any finish. Okay. The next one is an avenged loss, 2 points. The next one is just a standard win, right? And so what I mean by that is all of these fighters, right? Any win they get, they're getting that 1 point regardless. And then if they finish that opponent, it's 3 points essentially, right? Because it's the 1 for the win and then 2 for the finish. And then also that will all add on top of any time you've gotten it, winning the belt or winning over the top 5 opponent. That all stacks. Okay. It's not like because you got this, you don't get that. No, they get the points based on what they did. The next one is robbery win. I am kind of on the fence about this one, guys, because I think that this is very subjective when we get into some robbery wins. But like, I would think most of us can objectively agree on some robbery wins. So I will leave it to you guys. Let me know if you want to keep robbery win or not. You think it makes sense? Just let me know. And then now we're going to get into where fighters lose points. Okay. Because this is very important, I think, when you're trying to consider all aspects of the MMA GOAT conversation. Right off the bat, a loss is -3 points. A 3-fight skid is -5 points because it's just obviously like, I don't think you can, when you're thinking about GOATs, having a 3-fight losing streak is never a good thing, right? But if you're able to make up in those other areas, right? So 3-fight skid, -5. A DQ, -10. Let me know what you guys think on that one. That might be a little bit harsh. I promise you I did not do this to shit on Jon Jones because I feel like the DQ he got was bullshit. A 5-fight skid, -10. And then pop for PEDs, -15. That is important, guys, because there's a lot of people who, obviously are always touting Jon Jones as the GOAT. I've said it myself. But then you also have people like with Anderson Silva because he had a crazy, I think 16 wins in a row, but he's popped for PEDs a few times. And that pop for PEDs is not, I think the way that I did this was the pop for PEDs is a case by case basis. So if you've popped twice, you're getting fucking ding 30 points. Okay. So that is the current criteria and points for the GOAT list that I have strung up, pulled together. I need you guys to give me your thoughts and tell me if I'm missing things that I should include. Not only tell me what it is, tell me what points you think it should be. And if you fundamentally just disagree with any of these, please just let me know, guys. I'm trying to work with all of you here so we can come to a consensus on who the true GOAT of MMA is. Okay, guys. All right, guys. So like I said, I was going to give you a preview of what this looks like. Jon Jones is definitely up there. Okay. He's higher than a lot of people are in this GOAT list so far. I've only gotten a few people totaled out. GSP is higher than Jon Jones, just saying. But taking a look at this, we're going to break down Jon Jones' points. So win points, he's got 27 because he had 27 wins. He had wins over top 10 points. Okay. That's 2 points. He had 4 wins over guys that were in the top 10, which seems crazy, I think, right? You'd be like, what the fuck? How's that possible? But when you go down to the wins over top 5s, it's because he was, fighting guys that were 1 to 5 quite a bit. He had 10 wins over top 5 opponents. So right there, when we add those up, he had 8 points for the top 10, 30 for the top 5, won the belt points, 7. He won the belt 3 times. So 21 points there. Won the interim belt once, 5 points. Defended his belt 12 times, 24 points. Finishes, he had 18. So that's 36 points. Avenged a loss. He never had a loss. So he's got 0. 10 fight win streak. He did complete that. So he gets 10 points there. Got a 5 fight win streak as well. 5 points there. Performance of the night or fight of the night bonus. He had 9. If you look at both those categories, that's 27 points. And then here, Jon Jones gets that stacking effort, right? Because if you get the 80%, you get the 75. So he gets 15 here because his opponent's record was around like 81%, I think. So he gets both those. So that's 15. Now we'll go into his negatives, right? So losses, 0, nothing there. A DQ, -10. And then the only other thing that Jon Jones has was he was popped for PEDs on 2 occasions, which takes his what would have been 100 and he would have had 190. Yeah, he would be 198 because we have to consider the -10 for the DQ. So he would have 198 points if we're not counting those PED popping situations, bringing Jon Jones to 168 points. Now, like I said, I've only done a few fighters. Jon is number 2 right now, and GSP is number 1. Now, the thing is, guys, this is an ever evolving thing. I'm going to make changes too based on what you guys comment. So make sure you fucking comment and we can get after this. So like I can give you guys, if you would like to know, I can just read some points off to you. But like Khabib's at 142 points. Demetrious Johnson's at 159 points. Daniel Cormier is at 122 points. Believe it or not, Ilia Topuria is already higher than Daniel Cormier with 125 points. Islam Makhachev has 146 points. Someone like Randy Couture, 58 points, which is nuts. Alexander Volkanovski has 139 points. And Kamaru Usman, I'm not done with because I'm looking here. Yeah, Kamaru's only at 104, but I think I need to total that up still. So just giving you guys a preview. My goal for this is to get the collection of fighters, right, that should be in at least the top 50. I'm going to fucking total all these points out and I'm going to get this shit done and show who I think is the true GOAT. But I need the help of y'all, the fight feeders, my fam. I need you guys to help me out here. Comment and please add additional stuff. Remove things if we feel like we need to. I need your help doing this, and we can make this a very comprehensive list that makes sense and includes all of those different aspects that a lot of people are not thinking about when they're considering who the GOAT of MMA is. Thank you guys for watching this video. Please subscribe to Fight Feed. Make sure you fucking comment and let me know your thoughts. Let me know. Not necessarily your thoughts. I do want your thoughts. I don't care if you tell me if it's a good video or not. What I care about is just getting your opinion on what this criteria list should look like. And if you have any recommendations or changes to the current criteria. I spent a lot of time on this. I am looking forward to hearing from you guys. Thank you so much. I will see you all in the next one.